What kind of fart was it?
Shit, am I going to let people down if I don't get what I'm supposed to get based on their opinions? Why is it not working? Lights, camera, action. Yes, guys. So, a much anticipated his and hers Q&A. I almost forgot what we were doing then. I was going to say a quiz. It's a pop
Could do a
quiz.
quiz if you want.
Yeah, we're going to play Pictionary. Is it Pictionary? You know, when you have to do the syllables and...
No.
What's that called?
Charades.
Is it charades? Should we play charades instead?
That's when you have to act it out.
Yeah.
Do a round.
Yeah, we're gonna play charades instead. This is completely off topic.
Pictionary is the one you draw and then guess.
Oh yeah, I was actually pretty good at that. We actually played a game last night where I had to cover my eyes, and Kerry played the intro of anything that she picked on Netflix to see if I can guess the film, and I got every single fucking one right, didn't
Yeah.
I? I'm that much of a movie geek. Anyway, we're gonna.
Do charades, but for bodybuilders.
Yeah, Why is it not working? Anyway, let's roll into the Q&A. Who wants to go first?
You can go first.
Oh shit, I'm actually not prepared for it.
I'll go first then.
Okay. I did the intro for God's sake.
So first question was from this lovely guy behind us, actually.
Jop. The king Jop. Yeah, I asked the
And
question.
it was, what kind of fart was it?
So, for those who are watching this, probably didn't see the story, but when I put the story of the question box up on my Instagram this morning, as I hit record, Kerry let the biggest fart go known to man. So, in answer to Jop's question, it was a wet one, my bro. It was an incredible, wild, wet one. Would you like to give a little bit more info on it? Because obviously it was yours.
No, just be proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Own it.
I did. Eva messaged me afterwards, and she was like, "Brad, this is cruel," but it is the, what did she say? The definition of a true relationship, and it's true. Like, we are absolute animals. Like, there's probably not a moment that we don't act like kids laughing about farts. And if you can't laugh about a fart, then grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
So that's the first question. Are we going one for one?
Yeah.
Cool. So, who's got the most potential / future in the sport of bodybuilding out of you and Brad? Who's going to go first? That's quite a loaded question, isn't it?
That is.
Someone's asking for a bit of a fight here. It's an easy one for me, Kerry, 100%. I've always said Kerry's the one who's got the most potential and the brightest future in the sport. And if I separate the relationship, I treat the coaching and relationship as two very separate things. My aim, as it would be for anyone, is to make sure that their progress, their future is always the forefront of my mind, which has always been the same with Kerry. It's always, how can I make her the best she is? So she'll always come as a priority with that. But I've always said she's got the most potential. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I feel like you're allowed to agree. I'm not going to call you a cunt.
It's weird because, like, it depends on which way you look at it, because the most potential as an athlete or just kind of like in the industry in general.
Most potential / future in the sport. So I would say as an athlete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kerry? Yeah. Fucking big-headed prick. But no, I would agree with that, 100%.
Yeah.
Look at her getting all fucking
Without
good.
like blowing my own trumpet.
Yeah, I'm fucking better and
It's
what?
not saying that, like, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird
Take the
one to
fucking
answer
praise.
yourself,
Take the
isn't it?
praise. You're allowed to say, yes, I'm better than you.
No, but it's not like I'm better than you, because I don't think that's what it comes down to, unfortunately. Because
Explain your thoughts. I like this. Where's it
because
going?
you said, like, you're better than me, but no, you do things a lot better than I do.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
You know
I've
what
got
I
the
mean?
brightest future in the sport.
No,
that
but-
doesn't mean that I've got more potential. Like, we've got different ways and different methods of doing it, which, okay, I'm not saying this, but from what you're saying, I'm the better quote unquote bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Because I do the bodybuilding better, but that doesn't mean that I've got the best potential. It doesn't mean that I've got the brightest future. So that goes down to where is someone with a, like, I've been bodybuilding for 10, 11 years. You're on like three years? She's placed way higher than me at way more shows. I've only done 4, 5 shows. I lost count of how many shows you've done.
Not like tons, actually.
I think you've got to be like 12 or 13.
It was 2 my first year, 5 the second,
She's already
3
beat me.
this year, maybe. I mean, like 9 or 10, maybe.
Either way, if it comes down to like accolades and track records, she's won way more than what I have at much higher and much more prestigious shows. So simply by default, therefore she's going to be a better athlete.
Yeah.
But even if you look at where we're currently at and the potential of what we're doing and the almost kind of like position of where we are within our kind of bodybuilding career, Kerry's leaps ahead of me. She's going for pro qualifiers. She's had feedback from judges that have said, you're there. You just need to be rocking up at the right shows. So, yeah, it's an easy one to answer for me.
Yeah.
Your question.
Okay, second one is, what are your thoughts on each other's PED use?
Well, I program your PEDs, so if I thought it was bad, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I feel like it's definitely one we've spoken about, and I think, you know, again, taking a relationship out of the equation, if you looked at it from any point of view, it's always supporting the individual with what they want to do and what they feel comfortable in doing, but then also you as a coach doing things that you ethically believe is acceptable. So, of course, there's my concerns of, yes, I'm coaching Kerry. Yes, this is her progression. This is her potential. This is her risks to reward ratio. But also, yes, I'm coaching my partner. So there's different sort of efficacies there. But I also know we've had the conversation long ago of where Kerry wants to go, what her focuses are, what risks she's willing to take. So, of course, I'm never going to do anything stupid that's going to put her in an incredibly detrimental spot. But if she ever turned around and said to me, I want to blast 2 grams of tren, let's fucking go, then obviously that's a different conversation. But I program yours, so as I've got the coaching mindset, so it'll probably be a bit of a different answer to me. And you're not really of a high risk. Yes, there's always going to be risks with PEDs, but I feel like it's a slightly different one on the other end of the spectrum. Like my risk is much higher.
Also, something that's just not spoken about enough, in my opinion, in the industry is female PED use. I don't think people are as open and honest as what they should be. I get that, like, some people don't want to talk about it, that's absolutely fine, but in my opinion, it's not spoken about enough.
No.
But
I feel like there's elements of that within the male industry as well, more so from like the higher levels. And I guess there's like 2 different ways you can look at it. One, does it really fucking matter what anyone's running? Because that doesn't mean that's what you need to run to be the best that you can be, or that's what you have to run to be a professional. You know, it's like everyone has to wear a size 9 trainer. Like, it's very person dependent, but I agree, it's probably not spoken about as much, but it's always been something we've been very honest and open about. Like, I've always been very honest with you about what I'm doing, and I've even had the conversation with you of, does it worry you and does it concern you? So therefore, you've got to answer that part of the question.
I don't really know.
I'm not dead yet, so
Like, it does bother me, but I think because we are quite open about it, that helps me sometimes feel less worried.
Yeah. I think from the conversation that we've had before about it, you know the risk that I take, but you also witness the lengths that I go to look after my health.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next point. Like, as long as, like, you're doing what you should be doing in regards to, like, getting your health checked, and that's all in a good place, then, yeah.
Yeah, I can't hide away from that because Kerry does my bloods for me as well. So there we go. If they come back shit, she knows it. So it's one of those ones like, my risk to reward ratio is going to be very different. Obviously, female PED use or male PED use is a completely different ball game. Kerry's bikini, I want to try and push to the highest weight class I can in open bodybuilding. So of course, my usage is going to be very different. But I've never been one to take stupid risks. I'm always very aware of the risks that I'm taking. I'm very open with the honesty of the question of, yes, this is probably doing damage that is going to take years off my life, but I'm immersed in the industry. It's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. So as long as I'm looking after myself in the best possible way, running bloods, taking prophylactics, looking after myself from the harm prevention as much as I possibly can, then I feel comfortable with my ethical choices. Kerry feels comfortable with the fact that I'm looking after myself as best as possible. But like, don't get me wrong, there's times where I've like joked around. I said, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?" She'll go, I'm like, okay, it's probably not a good idea. But I'll always like question her about stuff and what she thinks. And that's why I quite like having that additional set of eyes, because Kerry's not one to just blow smoke up my ass. And she's also that unemotional, unbiased person that can comfortably say to me, no, this is what's going on. I think you're doing this, or you're in your head about this. Just focus on this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps that one up. How do you both face the pressures of the sport? From a competing standpoint, I'd guess.
I don't feel a huge amount of pressure. I think probably the most amount of pressure I feel is probably from myself.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, and also sometimes in prep, sometimes when you get them, people say, oh, like you've got this, and oh, you're going to do this, or you're going to do that. Like,
you're going pro,
yeah,
you're going to
like,
win, you're going to smoke everyone. Yeah.
That pisses me off. And I think people need to be more aware of what they're saying to people in regards to that sometimes, because that can put unnecessary pressure on an athlete. Just wish them well.
I
wish
feel
them
like
good luck.
That kind of comment always comes from a very good place, because
Yeah.
they believe in you as an individual and they see how much you've progressed and they see how good you're looking. But of course, from an athlete standpoint, we don't know who we're standing up against. We don't know what judges are going to look at us. We don't know what's going to happen on the day, what's going to happen with a peak, what's going to happen. We can have all these things mapped out. We can be our very best look and not get rewarded for it. And that's not down to us. That's not down to anything. That's just how the sport goes. And of course, like the comments, the messages, story replies, things like that. Yeah, they're lovely and they're nice gestures, but sometimes they can put a lot of pressure on an athlete. And this is something that, not even from what we've faced, I've heard it echo across the industry from multiple people, that sometimes that external pressure from social media can be the hardest thing about it. And it's that, shit, am I going to let people down if I don't get what I'm supposed to get based on their opinions? Are people going to drop off as clients because they don't think I'm as good as a coach as I need to be because I didn't get the accolades that people thought I was going to get? So I think sometimes that pressure can be quite intense. But I think that's where you've just got to kind of turn down the noise a little bit and, thank the people and just move on. Stay focused on the things that you've got to do. I think there was only 1 year where I felt like a lot of pressure, and that wasn't the year just gone, it was the year before. And I think very similar, when everyone was like, oh, you're looking incredible, you're going to do so well, you could turn pro. And I was like, I don't know, this is just feeling like a lot of pressure now. But the last season, I was just like, I'm just going to do it for the fun of it. I don't really care where I come. I don't really care what placing I get. I didn't pay for photos. I didn't do anything. I just did it because I fucking love it. So
I think we're both quite good at just keeping our head down and
yeah, I agree.
not letting that pressure get to us too much. Or if we do, I think we're probably quite quick to
very short-lived, isn't it?
get out of it. Or
it will literally be a momentary flip of, oh shit, I'm not feeling good about this, or what do you think about this? And then one or the other will just be like, shut up, crack on, let's fucking go. And it's like, yeah, I'm cool. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Easy. But I can understand there is a lot of pressure when it comes to the sport. It usually stems from that internal pressure that's like just escalated from something, which could have been you've seen something on social media that's made your head wobble, or someone's messaged you something that's made your head wobble. So I think it's all down to just that personal, just brushing it to the side, just going, cool, I'm just doing this because I love it. I'm going to focus on my daily variables, ticking the boxes, and just keep going and just focus on that. Nothing else matters. My rice cooker's singing. It's done.
Okay, I've got another one. It is, what is it like being coached by your boyfriend? Can you really keep it separate? In a nutshell, yes, we keep it separate. I think we're very good at doing that. And I couldn't imagine being coached by anybody else. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to touch on anything about how like we
Easy.
keep it separate, or like we have a coaching relationship and we have a relationship, like, and it's always been like that?
Yep. I literally coach Kerry exactly the same as I would coach anyone else. She sends her check-ins to me through WhatsApp. I send her a Loom video every check-in day. It is as if she was checking in as any other client, same as any other client would. And that's the process that I'd follow. Of course, like, there's probably the additional benefit, and without her even realizing, that I watch what she does every day. So I can pick up on physiological
Spying
signs.
on me.
Yeah, just peeking around the door, seeing what she's eating. But I can pick up on the physiological effects more than anything else. So I can see when she's not sleeping well. I can see when digestion's bad. I can see when stress is high. So there's almost that, well, I get an inside view of everything. So of course I've got that kind of like adaptation, but I wouldn't sit there and go, oh, you're doing this, don't do that. I would wait to a check-in and be like, right, okay, sleep's been shit this week, work's been stressful, we're going to take a deload, we're going to do this, we're going to have some time off, we're going to do this. But I don't think like, it's never really impacted a relationship. And I think that ultimately comes down to the ridiculous level of trust. Like, if I told you to do something, you're just like, yeah, cool, easy, done. And I know from an adherence standpoint, if I tell Kerry what to do, it's done. I don't ever have to question it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to quiz her or worry that it's not getting done. So I don't think it's ever been anything that's ever or could ever cause any potential stress. You know, if Kerry wants to have a fucking off plan and not stick to her diet, I'm not going to have a go at her. I'd be like, oh, no, you can't do that. Like, she can do what the fuck she wants. She's an adult. I'm not a dad. So it's one of those situations that I'm her partner, and yes, I coach her, but I'm not fucking Hitler. I'm not like watching her every step, every move, and making sure she's staying on track. But also, you're not a fucking idiot, so you don't need to be, mollycoddled. So yeah, I personally don't see like, I think some of the best coaching relationships are partners. Joe and Jazz, Kuba and Meg. Who else? Jordan and Corin.
Phoebe.
Nathan, Phoebe. Like, name me a better coaching combination than partners. And ultimately, I think, I'm just going to fucking say it, it's going to ruffle some feathers, but if your coach can't be your partner, then you probably don't have a very good relationship. Said it.
I agree.
Because those people that I've just named right there are some of the best in the world, and they don't have a fucking issue. So there you go. Shout out to the G's that can coach their partners.
She'll go.
Oh, it's my go. Sorry. How do you deal with expectations, coach and athlete? So I'm guessing the expectations. How do I deal with your expectations of me as a coach? How do you deal with my expectations of you as an athlete? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I never feel pressure from Kerry because I know all of my decision making is putting her in the best possible place that can be for her progression. I think the most pressure I've ever felt was when we were doing the pro qualifiers last year. And that wasn't pressure that I felt from Kerry. That was pressure that I felt for trying to be able to control variables out of my control, and I couldn't, which I found frustrating, which was fucking judges. That's the only thing. I never feel pressure from Kerry. Like, the same with any athlete, I am so obsessive about the process, tracking data, looking at how things are changing to make sure that we don't miss and that everything lands perfectly. And Kerry's a fucking robot when it comes to that. So I know everything that we're doing is being executed to perfection. And I remember Sweden, just looking at her when we was in Stark Gym, and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. But then I had the most overwhelming sense of pressure of, I can't control anything from here though. Everything else is out of my control. We are going to step up on stage, the best she's ever looked, but fuck knows where that's going to place us, because I don't know who's going to turn up. I don't know what the judges are going to want. It's the aim of the game, which is just something you can't control. But I think most coaches will probably feel that as well. And the bikini division, who the fuck knows what they want? It could be fucking anything from one week to another. So that's just the pressures of a coach. But I don't feel that pressure from Kerry.
Yeah. I don't think I feel
I
any
feel like I
kind of...
nailed that answer.
I don't think I feel any kind of like pressure really. Like in like an athlete sense, like I don't feel any kind of like pressure. Again, I think it comes from more of a me thing. I put pressure on myself because I want to do well, like for you. Like
Yeah, that's something you've mentioned to
I
me
would
before.
love like more than anything to stand up on that stage one day and like hold that card up, like not just for me but for like you as well. And I think again that's just pressure that comes from myself. But in regards to like coaching, yeah, I don't ever feel any pressure really, like just with
Yeah.
anything.
I'm not really like, I'm not a pushy coach, but then I'm also like, I'm not afraid to push a client if that's what's needed. But again, where Kerry is so adherent to what she needs to do, I mean, that last prep was pretty fucking easy. Like, don't get me wrong, like towards the end, yes, you started to feel the physiological effects of a prep, which I think, now I mention it, that could be quite difficult because she's going pro qualifier after pro qualifier after pro qualifier. I've got to take into consideration, okay, this is our period of time that we've been exposed to PEDs. That has to stop. I can see her fatigue's building up. I can see that she's starting to fade just as herself and her personality because she's fucking tired. Like, prep will take it out of you. And I remember her saying, I want to do Poland. And I thought, oh shit, I don't think this is a good idea. And I let her sit on the idea for a while, and I could just see her flaking and flaking and flaking. And it was at that point I had to have the conversation of, okay, we need to talk about this now because I don't think this is a good idea. And then that's when you were like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, and I think again, like that's not like, that's me putting unnecessary pressure on myself, I think, because I don't want to let you down by not doing
Yeah.
that show. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think now we talk about it, there's probably more pressure that we both realise, but from other avenues. And we don't get that from each other. We just get that for wanting the best out of each other and for each other, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But then I think, again, when it comes down to any coaching relationship or any relationship as a whole, that's just things you have to be able to recognise within that individual. I could see Kerry flaking big time. And I was like, this is now feeling forced, not enjoyed. So I need to let her come to that realisation herself, or I need to intervene before it becomes an issue. And then it wasn't until we had the conversation where she was like, yeah, I'm done, but I don't want to let you down. I feel like if I stopped and pulled out now, I'm going to let you down, I'm going to let everyone else down. I was like, no, that's not how it is. Like, if you wanted to stop now, I'm not going to look at you any differently. And if people do look at you differently, fuck them, it doesn't matter. So.
God, I was so done.
Yeah.
I just broke down, didn't I?
Yeah, literally, I think we were sat on the sofa and I was like, right, we need to have a conversation. And she always gets this face, like whenever I get like serious, she's like, I'm like, nothing's wrong. I
It
just
was
need
when
to
I
have a
got back
conversation.
from Chloe's hen do.
Yeah.
I was
And there's
like,
usually like a tipping point within someone's like season. And I remember you saying it was the comments you were getting because you went out on a hen do and people were staring, plus you were fatigued and you were just like, I just want to feel human again. And I was like, we are done, 100%.
yeah.
But I think that comes from, again, communication and also the key of coaching. I know Kerry better than she knows herself, and I could see the signs that things were going wrong. She was still adherent, she was still perfect with everything, but just that spark and excitement had dropped, and I was like, yeah, this is either definitely her last show, or we need to pull this before it happens. And then as soon as I saw the signs start to worsen, I was like, okay, no, we're done. So yeah. Is it my question or your question?
I don't know.
Oh, that was my question, your question.
I've got. Are any of your approaches different from each other's?
Yeah, all of
Many.
them. All of them.
And I think probably it's. I don't think a lot of people probably realise like how different we probably are in our approaches. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not a real bodybuilder.
She's the fakest bodybuilder ever. She rides on genetics. No, it's. I've always said like an individual's process to bodybuilding has to come down to enjoyment. Kerry does what she does and she enjoys it. She makes progress. That's how she does it. The way we sort of run Kerry's season is when she's in prep, she is fucking robotic. Doesn't miss, everything structured, everything in place. Like, I don't have to question or fault anything. But the moment Kerry finishes her season, she has to have an element of flexibility, of wiggle room, of adjustments to then be able to enjoy that process. She can't do that 24/7, 365 days a year. And not many people can. And I never encourage people to do that. But we know the moment your season's done, it's like, right, cool, I'm going to macro track for a little while. I'm going to have a little bit of what I fancy whenever I want it. She doesn't eat like a fucking dick. Like, she manages it very, very well. And each week still consistently makes progress. Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm autistic as fuck. Literally everything is robotic, measured. Off-season prep is exactly the same, but that's what I do. That's how I enjoy it. That's my process. I've always done that since the start. And I think when I first started the kind of bodybuilding journey 10 years ago, I was like, right, I'm just going to do this the best that I possibly can, and surely I'm going to make progress. So my first year of bodybuilding, I literally stuck to the same meal plan every single day for a year, did cardio every day, trained every day. Obviously I made fuck all progress because I made no changes to anything. But for me, sticking to a plan isn't difficult. But I know if I did that for most people, if I told Kerry to live my life, fuck me, 2 weeks in, I should be climbing the walls because
Yeah.
it's not enjoyable for most
Like,
people.
I don't find it difficult to follow a plan. Obviously, like in prep, every single thing is to like the gram, whatever. But in off season, like we lead like very different lives, like with work and things like that. So we approach lots of different things in
Yeah, you
different
couldn't.
ways.
Like
I couldn't.
if I programmed you,
Like I can't eat the same times every single day. Like
you can't
with
train the
my
same times.
job. So
Yeah.
it's just I have to be more flexible. Sometimes I wish I could be more like on it and exact every single day, but I don't think I'd enjoy it as much. And I can't at the end of the day. You have to adjust to what best fits you.
Yeah, and that's coaching.
And what you enjoy.
Yeah.
So if I want something that's off plan, I will just find a way of fitting it in. Like,
It's not something that's ever caused you any issues. You don't fuck up and binge. It doesn't impact progress, but it allows that flexibility and enjoyment and downtime, which ultimately is how, like I've always said, the perfect way of bodybuilding is basically what Kerry does. She still makes progress, but she has flexibility. Do I think my method of bodybuilding is optimal and the best way to do it? Absolutely fucking not. Because I don't think many people can do it. And I don't think many people would want to do it. But I do it because I enjoy it. Like, that's always been my process ever since I was a kid. I was that fucking autistic kid that had to line up the cars in every single, like, separate colour. Like, everything had to be uniform and fucking, like, otherwise it would send me up the wall. And I'm still very much like that, in case anyone hadn't noticed. But I don't think people know the extent until they've actually seen it. And obviously, Kerry fucking lives with it. How she lives with it, I'm not quite sure. But it's something that, for me, it makes me efficient at what I do from a bodybuilding perspective. It makes me efficient at what I do from a work perspective. When I've got clients, check-ins, everything has its place. And if I didn't have that, everything would go to shit. So it's structured and it's routine and it's regimented. So I know that everything gets done at the right time, in the right way, in the right manner, so that I can be effective and efficient in everything that I do. It just gives me peace of mind. So that's why I do it. But I would never encourage, like, I'd never look at a client. And I think this is something that I wanted to touch on as well. I think people assume that coaches expect that from you if that's what they do. And if your coach expects that from you, then they're not a very good coach. Your coach does not expect you to live the life that they fucking live, because we have the ability to be flexible. I can do whatever the fuck I want any time of the day as long as my work gets done. Kerry can't do that. She's got clients, she's got work, she's got things
Can't
that
just
she
leave
has.
a client and say, sorry, I'm halfway through your hair, but I've got to go and eat a meal.
Yeah, man's got steps to do. Like, shampoo your own fucking hair. Like, I mean, it's stuff that needs to get done. Like, I'm fortunate in that I've put myself in the position to be able to fit my work around my life. Yeah, it took a long fucking time, but it's because that's what I wanted to do. Your coach does not expect you to live that life, because you're not going to be able to do it. And you're not going to be able to do it sustainably either. Especially when you've got family, friends, commitment, work. Like, you need to be flexible. Enjoyment is the key.
You got any more?
Yeah, I got one more. Eba's the last one. I thought I'd finish on a very nice one. I thought this was the best one that we got. The best thing, oh, hold on. The best thing about doing this thing, in brackets, love hearts, bodybuilding, together.
Ooh. Just, I don't know. Just to experience what you love with somebody that equally loves it
Yeah,
as much. Does that make sense?
it makes sense. I know what you're trying to say. This is what it's like living with Kerry. Trying to interpret what she means. I can translate, don't worry. Yeah, I'd agree. Like, I think the way I look at it is some of my top memories are from the bodybuilding things that we've done. Like, Sweden was fucking sick. I mean, Poland wasn't technically bodybuilding, but there was a lot of bodybuilding stuff orientated around that time.
I was in prep.
Yeah. Shows, like the show day experience. So, yeah.
Just that we
Everything's
both
always-
get enjoyment out of it. So to be able to enjoy it together, I
Yeah.
guess.
I think it can be quite difficult in the fact that not many people understand the weird shit that we do as bodybuilders. So to be in a relationship, even from like the coaching side of it as well, to have someone that does understand it so much, it's not only makes your life easier, but it makes it more enjoyable because you've got someone that truly gets it and understands it and shares that passion as well. Because I think there's not many people that truly understand it or truly get it. Most people just put up with it. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, all of our friends are bodybuilding orientated.
Mine
So-
aren't.
I don't have many friends. So. Jake.
I'm very lucky that like my best friends are like super supportive, and
they're the like type of friends that they don't understand it, but they get it because
Yeah.
you love it.
they're the best.
Yeah, I think that wraps up the Q&A.